Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the City Planning Public Hearing. Madam Secretary, please begin.
Good morning. This is the City Planning Commission public meeting held in Spector Hall, 22 Reade Street. Today is Wednesday, March 5th, 2014. As a courtesy during the proceedings, we ask that you please turn off all cell phones and beepers. All speakers should fill out a speaker's card at the desk outside of Spector Hall. In addition, we ask that those providing testimony please identify yourself, limit your remarks to 3 minutes, and speak clearly into the microphone. I will now call the roll. Chairman Weisbrod.
Here.
Vice Chair Knuckles.
Here.
Commissioner Battaglia.
Here.
Commissioner Besser.
Here.
Commissioner Cantor.
Here.
Commissioner Cerullo.
Here.
Commissioner Chen.
Here.
Commissioner De La Uz.
Here.
Commissioner Del Turo.
Here.
Commissioner Dweck.
Here.
Commissioner Eady.
Here.
Commissioner Levin.
Here.
Commissioner Marin.
Here.
A quorum is present.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. Before we proceed, I would like to say a few words about our General Counsel, David Kornofsky, who, as many of you know, will be leaving city service at the end of this week. David, on behalf of the City Planning Commission and your colleagues at City Planning, I'd like to acknowledge your dedication, your hard work, your brilliance, and your good humor. You have had a distinguished career in public service spanning nearly 3 decades and have made many friends along the way, including me. And I can't help but note that you're leaving on the week I arrive, and What did I do, David? I would like to add just a personal note, because I've known David for most of those 3 decades. And I first met him when he was a young lawyer in the law department. And we met when David was managing for the law department the legislation at the City Council that created the Economic Development Corporation. And I remember the night that the City Council was voting on that historic legislation, and it went deep into the night. And there was a the Women's Caucus at the Economic Development Corporation gathered and voted David the sexiest man in city government. I didn't know then, and I don't know now what it meant about all the other men in city government. But I prefer to think, David, that you were just the first and foremost. So while there will be a special event celebrating your accomplishments later this month, it seems most fitting that we all extend our appreciation and applause to you in this forum. And I really do want to thank you on behalf of the City of New York and all of its citizens for your incredible service to New York City. So. Thank you, Dave. Madam Secretary.
Okay. The first item is the approval of the minutes of the regular meeting of Wednesday, February 19, 2014.
On the minutes, I will make a motion to approve. All in favor? Aye. Minutes are approved.
Scheduling on calendar numbers 1 through 8, we have resolutions for adoption. Scheduling March 19, 2014 for a public hearing to be held in Spector Hall, 22 Reade Street.
I will make a motion to approve items 1 through 8 for adoption. For public For scheduling, excuse me. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, the next part of the calendar is the report section on page 16. Borough of Brooklyn, calendar numbers 9 through 16. Calendar number 9, CD1, C140132, ZSK. Calendar number 10, C140133, ZSK. Calendar number 11, C140134, ZSK. Calendar number 12, C140135, ZSK. Calendar number 13, N140131, ZRK. Calendar number 14, N140136, ZAK. Calendar number 15, C140137, ZAK. Calendar number 16, C140138, ZAK. In the matter of applications for the grant of special permits and authorizations and for an amendment of the zoning resolution concerning Domino Sugar. For favorable reports on calendar numbers 9 through 12, for favorable report as modified on calendar number 13, and for adoption on calendar numbers 14 through 16. Chairman Weisbrod.
Yes, let me make a statement. Today, we are voting on an application to transform the former Domino Sugar Refinery on the Williamsburg waterfront into a nearly 3 million square foot mixed-use development with more than 2,200 housing units, approximately 480,000 square feet of office space, 110,000 square feet of retail space, and 143,000 square feet of community facility space, including a school. Publicly accessible open space totaling 4.8 acres would also be created along the waterfront and within the development. I believe we are all in agreement that this application represents an improvement over the previously approved Domino project with respect to its site plan, enhanced open space, and the fact that it will include incubator, tech, and commercial office space that will enable emerging industries to grow in Williamsburg. And I want to commend the applicant, Two Trees, and its principal, Jed Walentis, for this improved plan. Although I wasn't here for the public hearing, I've carefully and thoroughly reviewed the record and was present for Monday's review session. One of the core issues throughout the review of this project has been affordable housing. The approvals of the borough president and the community board were contingent on assurances that the affordable housing promised would be delivered and that the development would include a mix of family-sized units. Similarly, concerns were expressed by members of this commission throughout the review process, which started in the last administration. And affordable housing is, of course, a stated goal of the mayor, who is committed to achieving 200,000 affordable apartments over the next 10 years. The applicant seeks approval for buildings that are as much as 20 stories taller as part of a development that is 200,000 square feet larger overall than the 2010 Domino project. We want to encourage development with bold designs and great site plans like Domino. We know this increases the value of development, and we also want to ensure that the public can share in the increased value through the provision of affordable housing. As department staff has noted, this project is a predominantly residential, large-scale development where the commercial and community facility uses are integral to the overall mix of uses. As such, we have treated the entire project as a large-scale development for purposes of calculating the affordable housing required. This results in an increase in affordable floor area above that provided for in the 2010 approvals and provides for a total of approximately 537,000 square feet of affordable housing, enough to create 700 affordable apartments covering a range of incomes, including a significant number of units sized for families. These units will also be permanently affordable. And as you may have read in the mayor's announcement Monday, the applicant has committed that work on the first building will begin in December of this year. This is an impressive achievement. We are today, I hope, approving what we are today approving sows the seeds for an economically healthy, mixed-income, mixed-use neighborhood of the future. And I particularly want to thank Deputy Mayor Alicia Glenn for her laser-like focus on affordable housing, as well as our colleagues at HPD. And I want to single out our Brooklyn Director, Purnima Kapoor, and her team, Director of Strategic Planning, Howard Slatkin, and, of course, General Counsel David Karnofsky, and many, many others at the department who have contributed to our review of this major and complex project. And I want to thank all of you, my fellow commissioners, for your attention and focus on the most important objectives of this application throughout this review process. I look forward to working with my fellow commissioners, as well as our community boards, our borough presidents, and the City Council as we review land use applications to make them the best that they can be for their communities and for the city. I vote aye.
Okay. Vice Chair Knuckles?
Mr. Chairman, if you don't mind, I want to associate with your remarks regarding the great Karnofsky, whom I've known approximately for the same amount of time as you. I met him back in the 90s when I was at the old Department of General Services. Of course, the appraisal of the Women's Caucus adds a new dimension to his already legendary persona. I also want to salute the chair for hitting the ground running and coming in just as we are making a determination about a very significant project. I agree with the findings of the department as espoused by the chair. I too want to salute Purnima Kapoor and Justin Moore and Howard Slatkin and of course David Karnofsky and all of the Brooklyn team that contributed to what I think is a very, very excellent outcome. Two Trees has proven itself to be a very capable, even visionary developer, as witnessed by its accomplishments in Brooklyn and even more recently in Manhattan. And I am gratified that it has chosen to work with this new administration in bringing about an outcome that takes a site that needs to be readapted, a manufacturing site that now can become a location for housing, including a substantial amount of affordable housing. I think in many ways this is a template project that can become an approach that can be utilized as we pursue the very crucial need of affordable housing. I also agree with the determination of the department that we need not choose between commercial office space, which adds to the richness of a development project, and affordable housing. For all of those reasons, I vote yes.
Commissioner Battaglia?
I will keep this short, as much of what I've had to say has been said during the review process. There has never been a moment that I have not been proud to serve on this commission. What makes me most proud are actions like this one, which demonstrate that the process works. The community spoke, the commission listened and deliberated, and at the end of the day, to use Commissioner Canta's signature expression, it resulted in a better project. Now, as we vote, the development includes more affordable units, over 100,000 more square footage devoted to affordable housing than originally planned, and almost 50,000 square feet more than the plan voted on by this commission in 2010. Additionally, the affordable housing component will contain more 2- and 3-bedroom units than originally proposed to accommodate the local families. In fact, as we know, the original plan included no 3-bedroom units, and the affordability will be permanent. Since certification of this application, although I questioned height, I've applauded the design, the iconic donut building, I like that, and the magnificent open space. And as I said Monday, I am confident that moving forward, the programming for Domino Square will be just what the community wants and what the community deserves. A special thanks to the mayor, Chair Weisbrod, and the staff of the Brooklyn office, Purnima, Howard, Winston, I threw you in, and especially Justin Moore for your patience with me and your proficient and thorough explanations of all aspects of the development. On David. I know a lot of lawyers, David. My brother's a lawyer. I almost married a lawyer. I am surrounded by lawyers in my day-to-day life. My best friends are lawyers. Among them, some sit right on this commission. You are the brightest and the best. I'm sorry I will not be there at your party, but my heart will be with you, and I extend to you an open invitation for lunch, and I wish you the best. And on Domino, I am happy to vote yes on these actions as modified.
Commissioner Besser?
Thank you. I'd like to congratulate and welcome our new chair. He certainly has hit the ground running, as Vice Chair mentioned. Also, I would like to say farewell to David. He has been a magnificent value to this body, and I wish you all the best and the best of health. And I'd like to vote yes on Domino.
Commissioner Cantor?
Well, again, a happy welcome to the chair. May your reign be happy, healthy, and productive. David, I think it's a bit ironic or bittersweet that you're leaving us on a day when we're approving something sweet. You have been not only as a professional, but I don't really believe that people recognize the help you have given us on the commission in terms of keeping ourselves out of trouble. And I, for one, certainly appreciate it. With respect to Domino itself, there's not too much to be added, but I would like to make an observation. As Angela said, this has been bouncing around in the number of square feet that goes with the housing for the affordable housing. It's gone from 500 originally, 500,000. When two trees came in, they tried to bring it down to 427,000. After long, arduous, and I would suggest at times tense negotiations, it went back up to 537,000 square feet. Now, people have often asked, why doesn't the city build? And the real answer from my point of view is the city hasn't got the money to build. The city has found a mechanism in terms of selling land by virtue of air rights. And in selling that land, it's made the money available for the housing that is being built. When a developer comes in and takes the position that I can't make money doing A, B, or C with regard to this project, the answer is very simple. I've seen it many times in my profession. The developer just doesn't build, or he builds according to code, to existing resolution. But the intent here clearly is to both create housing and create an additional incentive for the developer to do that, to build that housing. It is not to create a windfall. It is not to help somebody come out of a bad deal if he made one. And this is a generic comment. It's not meant towards Domino per se. But the same way the private sector has the right to negotiate, I believe that the city has the right to negotiate zoning. If you want zoning from us, find a way to contribute to the city. We're not asking for hard dollars. We're asking for concrete, steel, bedrooms, living rooms, kitchens. I vote yes.
Commissioner Cerullo?
Yes. First, I just want to just make a comment also. As someone who got to meet David around the same time that our chair and vice chair referenced, who himself was a young city attorney at that time, and learned of David's very special recognition. You know, no hard feelings, but it's taken 30 years, but I'm actually happy to see him finally go. Of course, I'm only kidding. David, you've always been a source of intelligent and thoughtful, rational analysis and advice. You are, without a doubt, a gentleman and have always been a friend, and you will certainly be missed. The public sector's loss is the private sector's gain. but I have no doubt that your talent and your vision will continue to be realized throughout the city. And I wish you the very best and look forward to seeing you again here around March 6, 2015. With that said, on the item before us, I just want to briefly acknowledge the work of our new chair and deputy mayor and the administration, including the staff here at City Planning, and of course the applicant and his team for all that they accomplished through discussion and I'm sure constructive debate, because clearly the final proposal that we're acting on today accomplishes so many goals that are important to this administration and to the developer and perhaps most importantly to the community. So with that said, I vote yes.
Commissioner Chen?
So, Mr. Chair, if I may just say a word to David. Whenever David would come down on Monday afternoons at review session, I think I would perk up a bit at the end of a long afternoon, because I always knew that if David was here, it was because we were facing something very complex, some knotty problem, and David would come down to sort of work it through with us. And over the years, I've just found your work to be incredibly creative and elegant, and time after time, the solutions that you and the staff came up with always seem like the inevitable thing at the end of a very long path, just brilliant. So it's really been a privilege to work with you and to sort of see your mind at work. And I think when you take all of that and you put it together with someone who is just so good and kind, you really just exemplify the very best in public service. So whether you're in the private sector or public service, you're always number one in my book. So it's really with deep admiration that I wish you all the best as you move on. And on the matter before us on Domino, I vote yes.
Commissioner De La Hoz?
Well, first I want to welcome our chair and say congratulations on working through some tough things in the very first days. And I certainly want to associate myself with all the remarks of all the commissioners about David. I haven't known you as long. I just count myself fortunate to have served on the commission with your guidance and your thoughtfulness. And it's very, very much appreciated, and you'll be missed. On the decision before us, when decisions are made with equity and fairness as your filter, the result is different. And that is what we have here today. I believe both the modifications to the increase in the affordable housing square footage to 537,000 square feet and a public review process for the programming at Domino Square are meaningful improvements to this bold project and ensure there are real public benefits for the life of the project. I also believe that holding the line on subsidy is an important part of the component which is outside of this particular vote. While our vote today only speaks to the total square footage of the project and of the affordable housing, I encourage Two Trees with the stakeholders in the next step of the process to come to an understanding of the total number of affordable units and the bedroom mixes, because that is a paramount concern. Finally, I know that some people are uncomfortable with the density and the height of this project. As residents of New York City, we all need to recognize the housing crisis, and most especially the affordable housing crisis we are in. We need to seize every opportunity in every borough to maximize units while concurrently investing in our city's infrastructure needs. With that in mind, I want to thank all of the staff who worked tirelessly on this, and for all the stakeholders who came out to testify and share their thoughts, and who will continue to participate in the process moving forward. And with that, I vote yes.
Commissioner Del Toro?
First of all, congratulations, Mr. Chair. It's a pleasure to have you here. Today is a public, let me just start. Today is really a day that we can all be proud of. The Domino Sugar Project has gone through a long public process, and the outcome is a win-win for all. I am not going to repeat what the chair and my fellow commissioners have already said so eloquently, but I do want to associate myself with all of your comments. The project before us today, as modified, guarantees that 537,000 square feet will be set aside for affordable housing at various levels. This outcome has been possible because of the administration's unwavering commitment to affordable housing and a developer willing to work with the administration for bringing that about. I would like to commend the administration and Two Trees for being able to negotiate an agreement that I hope will serve as a model for future negotiations. The city benefits from this agreement, but so does the developer, and that's as it should be. I would like to thank our chair, for doing such a magnificent job at first time at bat. The staff of the Brooklyn office, especially Purnima Kapoor and Justin Moore, you are both extraordinary. And David Karnofsky, I will miss your brilliant analytic mind. I know you enjoy making those presentations. Really, I could just see it. So it's wonderful to see somebody enjoy what they do so much. So all my best to you. And Howard Slacken for also this amazing work. But I would like to thank the community board and the many community residents from Williamsburg who spent hours here at the public hearing making sure that their voices were heard. Thank you for caring so much for your community and for our city. I am delighted to vote yes.
Commissioner Dweck?
First, I'd like to extend my welcome and congratulations to the chair. And regarding our distinguished David Karnofsky, I'd like to associate myself with all the comments of my fellow commissioners. I'm a first-hand witness of your legal brilliance, and I'm hoping now that you're gone, maybe EDC can do a revote and I can throw my name into the ballot. With regard to the Domino Sugar proposal, I enthusiastically vote yes.
Commissioner Edie?
Thank you. I'd like to commend our chair, Carl Weisbrod, and the administration, along with the staff of City Planning, for helping craft a project that is a true win-win. The city gets the permanent affordable housing it needs, a great site plan, and the needed open space. And the developer is able to realize its vision for the site. And to that end, I'd also like to commend Two Trees and its design team for taking what was a fine plan and turning it into a truly great plan that speaks to the future of New York and its continued greatness. Regarding David, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for your brilliance and your assistance over the years. And you are invaluable, and you will be missed. And on the matter before us, I'm very pleased to vote yes.
Commissioner Levin?
What they all said. With a hail to our new chairman and a farewell to David, I vote yes on Domino.
Commissioner Marin?
Chair Weisbrod, welcome. We look forward to your leadership. David, you will be missed, truly missed. I, too, have not had the pleasure of working with you for 30 years, but in the 3 that I have, I really have appreciated your guidance and your leadership. And while you're leaving, I'm sure you will be involved in future city projects, and so I look forward to that as well. On the matter before us, I think that Two Trees should be commended, the community should be commended, and the staff and the commission should be commended. We've vetted out all of the matter in the proposal, and I think that what has been crafted today will lead us to a better city. We are growing. We will continue to grow. We will continue to turn manufacturing waterfront into residential. This is a model that I think that can become one to be followed, and so I vote yes.
Favorable reports have been adopted on calendar numbers 9 through 12. A favorable report as modified has been adopted on calendar number 13, and calendar numbers 14 through 16 have been adopted. Borough of Brooklyn, calendar number 17, CD2, N140254HKK, in the matter of a communication regarding the landmark designation of 88 Police Precinct Station House. On the adoption of calendar number 17 for referral to the City Council, Chairman Weisbrod?
Yes.
Weisbrod? Vice Chair Knuckles?
Yes.
Commissioner Battaglia?
Yes.
Commissioner Besser?
Yes.
Commissioner Cantor? Yes. Commissioner Cerullo?
Yes.
Commissioner Chen?
Yes.
Commissioner De La Us?
Yes.
Commissioner Del Turo?
Yes.
Commissioner Dweck? Yes. Commissioner Edie?
Yes.
Commissioner Levin?
Yes.
Commissioner Marin?
Yes.
Calendar number 17 has been adopted. Borough of Manhattan, calendar number 18, CD1N140267, PXM, in the matter of a notice of intent to acquire office space for use of property located at 123 William Street. For a favorable report on calendar number 18. Chairman Weisbrod,
Yes.
Vice Chair Knuckles,
Yes.
Commissioner Battaglia,
Yes.
Commissioner Bessa, Commissioner Cantor, Commissioner Cerullo, Commissioner Chen, Commissioner De La Uz,
Yes.
Commissioner Del Turo,
Yes.
Commissioner Dweck,
Yes.
Commissioner Edie,
Yes.
Commissioner Levin,
Yes.
Commissioner Marin.
Yes.
A favorable report has been adopted on calendar number 18. Borough of Queens, calendar number 19, CD 13, C140037, ZMQ, in the matter of an application for an amendment of the zoning map concerning the Braddock Hillside rezoning. For a favorable report on calendar number 19. Chairman Weisbrod,
Yes.
Vice Chair Knuckles,
Yes.
Commissioner Battaglia,
Yes.
Commissioner Bessa,
Yes.
Commissioner Cantor, Commissioner Cerullo, Commissioner Chen, Commissioner De La Uz,
Yes.
Commissioner Del Turo,
Yes.
Commissioner Dweck,
Yes.
Commissioner Edie,
Yes.
Commissioner Levin,
Yes.
Commissioner Marin.
Yes.
A favorable report has been adopted on calendar number 19. The next part of the calendar is the public hearing section on page 25. Borough of Brooklyn, calendar number 20, CD 18, C140155, ZMK. A public hearing in the matter of an application for an amendment of the zoning map concerning 1380 Rockaway Park rezoning.
I think we have one speaker on this, Daniel Eggers. Am I pronouncing your name right? Eggers?
It's Eggers.
Eggers, pardon me.
Good morning and welcome, Chair Weisbrod and Commissioners. My name is Dan Eggers from the firm of Greenberg Trarg. I'm representing PFNY LLC, doing business as Planet Fitness, the lessee of the property located at 1380 Rockaway Parkway in Canarsie. This is an application to rezone our property from a C13 overlay in an R5D district to a C23 overlay, which would allow my client to obtain a BSA special permit under Zoning Resolution 7336 to operate a physical culture establishment, Planet Fitness. The special permit is available in the C23 district, but not in the C13 district. As you can see on the map over there, what we're proposing would be an extension of the C23 overlay, which currently goes up to within 4 feet of our property, extending it 100 feet further south along Rockaway Parkway, so it encompasses our property. It would be consistent with the C23 overlay that is on the other side of Rockaway Parkway on its eastern side. Currently, the property is improved with a one-story structure that up until 2011 was used as a Rite Aid pharmacy. It is currently vacant. The rezoning would allow us to operate the Planet Fitness and return the site to active use, which we believe would be beneficial to the community. We're not proposing any enlargements or expansions. There will be external renovations to the facade and internally for the health club, but that's all we're proposing, and thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Eggers. Questions? No questions? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Anyone else on this item at all? Thank you. The hearing is closed.
Borough of Manhattan, calendar number 21, CD2, C140167, ZSM. A public hearing in the matter of an application for the grant of a special permit concerning 59-61 Thompson Street.
Basha Gerhardt?
Got it.
Got it? Good.
Good morning, Commissioners. I am Basha Gerhardt, Deputy Director of Land Use, here on behalf of Manhattan Borough President Gail Brewer to support with conditions Kissling Realty Advisors' application for a special permit pursuant to Section 74781. The special permit will allow for a change of use from manufacturing to retail on portions of the ground floor and cellar of an existing 6-story building. The manufacturing areas within Manhattan's Soho neighborhood are undergoing, and to a large extent have undergone, a transition to a mixed-use environment. Community Board 2 believes that as part of this trend, there is an oversaturation of eating and drinking establishments within the district. The Community Board has requested that the applicant agree to a permanent ban on eating and drinking uses in this space, which the Borough President supports. Eating and drinking establishments can contribute to the socioeconomic vitality of a district, but do have unique quality of life impacts on the character of a neighborhood. Eating and drinking establishments can command high rents and can outcompete other, more neighborhood-orientated uses and the manufacturing uses allowed as of right in M15B districts. The oversaturation of eating and drinking establishments can create a set of negative impacts, such as noise and sanitation issues, on the surrounding residents' quality of life. The special permit before you today shows the addition of the staircase and elevator to the ground floor. While this does utilize a significant portion of the ground floor space, the combined floor plate would be appropriate for many types of small retail. In addition, the applicant listed no food retail in their advertising campaign and sent a letter to the Community Board agreeing to find an alternative use other than an eating and drinking establishment, and has confirmed that agreement to the Borough President's office. Under the current zoning text of Section 74-781, the Borough President believes the applicant has met the finding of the special permit, namely that the owner of the space has made a good faith effort, as currently defined and practiced, to rent such space to conforming use at a fair market rate. However, these standards do not account for contemporary trends in local manufacturing or the technology sector. These industries' businesses are often small startups that could find small manufacturing spaces, such as the space at 5961 Thompson Street, appropriate. It is important that the CPC review the application requirements of Section 74-781 to encourage applicants to target beyond the immediate neighborhood level local manufacturing trends and utilize advances in communication technology. The Borough President also requests that the Chair of the CPC direct the Department of City Planning to expand the standards of Section 74-781 to foster applicants to more proactively coordinate with city agencies such as the EDC and small business services, whose priority it is to foster new trends within the tech manufacturing industry. In conclusion, the Borough President therefore recommends approval of the special permit with the condition that the applicant follows through on its stated commitment not to lease the space to an eating and drinking establishment.
Thank you very much, Ms. Gerhardt. Let me just say, I think I certainly, and I suspect many of my fellow commissioners here, recognize the sort of nettlesome nature of this section, and we'll see if we can take a look at it. So thank you. Questions? Ms. Battaglia.
Basha, first let me say congratulations on your new role.
Thank you.
I always knew Gail Brewer was dedicated and wise, and her wisdom is shown in stealing you from us.
Thank you.
Secondly, let me congratulate you as you move on to your path of motherhood.
Thank you.
I hope it's easy.
Me too.
I want to ask you, I realize you're speaking for her, but we had a discussion on Monday that if there were to be a restrictive deck placed to require that the use not be, I'm saying this in reverse, an eating and or drinking establishment, would the Borough President be in favor of that precedent-setting action?
It's something we would be willing to support. I think historically that special permit has not required a restrictive deck. It's something that we want to pass by through our council's office, and I'm sure the department would want to pass through their council's office as well.
Okay. Thank you, Basha.
Ms. Della,
I just have one more question, only if you can speak to it. Thank you for being here. So can you just share the commitment that the applicant made? How was it made, and was it with the Borough President or was it with the community? Those details would be helpful.
There was a written letter that went out to the Community Board stating that there would be no eating or drinking establishment as part of the lease. It was also stated in all the advertisements that they submitted to the local newspapers as part of their good faith marketing effort. And I believe this was before I started. This was done as a verbal commitment, and the written materials were already present, so we were comfortable with that.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Thank you, Ms. Guerra.
Thank you.
George, is it right, Cohn?
That's correct, sir. I am the architect of record, and I represent my client, Mr. Tony Kissling, on this matter. I bring to your attention that a good faith effort was done to market this space for more than 6 months. The subject application, the City Planning Commission, is to allow the use group 6 in a portion of the ground floor and cellar of the building fronting Thompson Street, which is located in M15B zoning district and requires a special permit from City Planning. This is a redundancy from what was said previously. Although use group 6 is not permitted as of right M15B zoning districts, the vast majority of buildings within the 600-foot radius of the subject building have use group 6 retail stores on the ground floor. The subject building had 2 use group 6 retail stores on the ground floor at the street frontage. The present proposal is to eliminate one of the ground floor retail stores and install a stair and elevator to the cellar in its place, making a cellar accessible from the street to use group retail use. In keeping with the owner's commitment to Community Board Number 2 and the Manhattan Borough President's Office, no space will be used as an eating and drinking establishment, period. There is no intent to put any restaurants there or use it ever as a restaurant.
Okay.
Thank you. Questions to Mr. Ricon? Ms. Levin.
Supposing that commitment had not been made, I'm asking you as an architect, would it be possible to adapt that ground floor space for use by a restaurant? What would have to happen?
If enough money is spent. I mean, the big problem with a restaurant that would be, of course, ventilation.
Right.
And that's a 6-story building. We have non-compliant yards. It's a major expense. My client has no interest in a
I understand
restaurant, eating and drinking establishment.
Okay, but it would require, the ventilation would have to go up, what, the back?
It would have to go up to the roof. You'd have to put an exhaust fan there. You'd have to bring another duct to bring in fresh air. It's a major undertaking.
So feasible, but
It's
not
feasible.
financially.
It's not only financially. I don't think my client wants the grease and the problem and the liabilities and so forth. So that is categorically off the table.
Okay, that's very helpful. I think the issue that we're grappling with as a commission is that while we fully respect and appreciate your client's commitment on this, it's always possible in the future that some other owner ends up with a building that doesn't share that commitment. And so
it's always possible.
That's the reason for the
It's
question.
highly unlikely.
Okay. Thank you.
Anything else?
Any other questions? Thank you, Mr. Ricon.
Very much.
Any other speakers on this issue, on this item? The hearing is closed. Thank you.
Borough of Manhattan, calendar number 22, CD9, N140268, PXM, a public hearing in the matter of a notice of intent to acquire office space for use of property located at 431 West 125th Street.
Jessica
Mates.
Mates. Okay, thank you.
Yes, thank you. Good morning, Commissioners. Thank you for the opportunity to testify. My name is Jessica Mates, and I am the Chief of Staff for the Office of the Manhattan Borough President, Gail Brewer. The Manhattan Borough President's Office has 45 staff members, and for many years has maintained an office in Northern Manhattan. There are currently 4 staff members in the Northern Manhattan office, and it's located in the Adam Clayton Powell State Office Building, or Harlem State Office Building on 125th Street. Our Northern Manhattan office provides a full range of constituent services. We assist people with problems related to housing, benefits, quality of life. We help people navigate government agencies, advocate for those not receiving services to which they're entitled, and of course assist senior citizens with a myriad of issues that they face. As I mentioned, the Northern Manhattan office is currently located in the Adam Clayton Powell State Office Building. It's on the 5th floor. And this building is difficult to access in some ways. You need an identification card to get in. Everyone who goes in is required to go through a metal detector. And it's our thinking that this discourages or may discourage some constituents from seeking the assistance that's provided by our office. So we have located a storefront office. It's a space that's at 431 West 125th Street. And it's a space that offers high visibility and accessibility that will enable the Manhattan Borough President's Office to fulfill our mission of providing really broad-range constituent services to anyone who who lives or works in the borough of Manhattan. The proposed space is located on a heavily trafficked block, a thoroughfare. It lends itself to maximum accessibility, so constituents throughout the borough can easily find and get to and enter the office. And the storefront itself has an open layout. It will provide the ability to accommodate adequate staff, and it has a waiting area that can accommodate 10 constituents. It has meeting spaces for one-on-one, small group, and slightly larger group meetings. And finally, the office will be staffed 7 days a week during regular business hours. Thank you, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Ms. Bates, as far as you know, is this the first time a borough president proposing to establish a storefront office in any borough?
I believe it is. I can research it, but I believe it is. I know other elected officials have storefronts, but I don't believe a borough president has yet.
Thank you. Any questions? Vice Chair Knuckles.
Thank you, Chair. Not a question, but an observation from someone who has to periodically navigate entrance into the Adam Clayton Powell office building. I salute Borough President Brewer's determination to do this and render her office and all of the assistance that you offer more accessible. I know the site, and it is really analogous to what many city council elected officials do that do have storefront space, and I think this is this adds a tremendous benefit to the residents of Uptown and indeed, well, certainly principally Upper Manhattan, and I salute the borough president for it.
Thank you.
Ms. Delos.
I just also wanted to join in commending the borough president for taking this approach. As someone who's worked in storefront elected officials' offices, the only concern I have is that you're going to outgrow your space really quickly, and because I think that's really possible. But maybe you'll be coming before us for that in the future. But good luck with this effort.
Terrific. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Are there any other speakers on this issue? Any other questions? Hearing is closed. Thank you.
Borough of Queens, calendar number 23, City 8, C120136ZSQ. A public hearing in the matter of an application for the grant of a special permit concerning Meadow Park Rehabilitation Center.
Jordan Most.
Thank you. Good morning. Jordan Most from Sheldon Bell's law office on behalf of Meadow Park Nursing Care Rehabilitation Facility. This is a special permit application brought pursuant to Section 7490 of the zoning resolution based on Community Board 8's bed ratio exceeding the city's ratio for nursing care beds. What makes this application maybe a little different or unusual is that it is an existing facility that's been there since 1956 on 164th Street between 78th Avenue and 78th Road, occupying that full frontage. And the building, while there have been a number of upgrades and improvements and cosmetic changes to the building, it is generally much the same as it was in 1956 with regard to its occupancy. There are 143 beds in the facility, and there are many rooms that are occupied by 3 and 4 people, and often toilets are shared by 6 to 8 people. In general, this facility is far below current Department of Health, State Department of Health standards with regard to nursing care facilities, but as its grandfathered, it may continue to operate subject to the dictates of the market. A variance application was pursued at the Board of Standards and Appeals to enlarge the facility but not increase the number of beds. The number of beds will remain the same at 143. Meadow Park and its affiliates acquired 4 residential properties to the west of the facility and is using some of those buildings currently as accessory uses, and plans to extend the current form of the building down those 2 side streets. And in conjunction with that, the BSA granted FAR lot coverage, height, and front and side yard waivers. Just briefly, though, in the course of the hearings at the community board during the variance application, there were a number of changes that were made to the application to make it more community friendly, if you will. Issues relating to garbage, keeping garbage segregated in a separate special place, and off-street parking, of which there is none right now. There are now 15 spaces included in the project. I think, but perhaps most significant is that the building will be at least 18 feet from the lot line and approximately 26 to 27 feet from the nearest residential house. So nearly a full lot of sort of buffering in between, with also landscaping and other buffering other than just distance. That's really it.
Thank you, Mr. Most. Questions? Yes, Ms. Del Toro.
Thank you for your testimony. While the construction is going on, what will happen to the residents in the facility right now?
The plan is to not have to move any of the residents, so that the new addition, the new structure would be built, residents would be moved into the new structure, and then the existing structure, because this is the idea here is not to leave it's a complete integrated renovation is the plan, and then renovate the existing structure and then move people back in to the existing structure and keep people in the new structure. So that's the plan.
No, I just have some difficulty envisioning how the construction is going on without affecting the residents.
It may affect them, but the idea is to keep them in place at least to the best of the facilities and the operators' abilities.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Thank you.
Sure.
Any other questions? Ms. Bezer.
Thank you, Chair. So you had mentioned that there are baths that are shared for 6 to 8 patients.
Right.
I know you're saying that you plan to keep the same number of beds. Do you plan to increase the number of baths?
Sorry. So the idea here is the building is going to be the building is almost going to double in square footage. So what was 3 to 4 people a room will become no more than 2 people per room, with single rooms, and the bathrooms will never be shared by more than 2 people. So it's a dramatic reduction in density, if you will, of the existing facility.
Thank you.
Ms. Dela Uz.
Just a quick follow-up question to Commissioner Del Toro's question. The plan for renovation, is it being reviewed by a health authority as part of the process?
It has.
Okay.
It has actually been approved.
Great. That's what I just
in a
wondered.
preliminary manner. I mean, it has to go through a real, sort of like one has to go through a plan examination of the Department of Buildings. It's going to go through a more rigorous review. Conceptually, the plan has been approved by Albany.
Great. Thank you.
Any other questions? I have one question. You testified that the facility currently has several challenges. Will this expansion resolve all of those challenges or just some of them?
It will resolve almost all of them, I think. I don't know that any that are not unresolved. The building is still, if someone were to build a 143-bed facility, they still wouldn't necessarily, they would probably do it a little differently and probably have a little bit more square footage, but I believe all the threshold requirements are going to be minimally satisfied, and some will be exceeded.
Thank you. Any other questions? Thank you, Ms. Most.
Thank you.
Ari Gluck?
Hi, thank you very much. I'm the administrator of Meadow Park Rehabilitation and Healthcare Center. What Jordan was mentioning, just everything that we would be doing would just enhance the lives and quality of life for our residents, and that's pretty much what the basis of it is. We have very minimal common area space, very limited family area. One of the most recent regulations is to have 24-hour-a-day, 7-day-a-week visiting hours, and when there's a roommate and a family wants to come visit, it makes it a little more difficult and disturbing, and we are short of those spaces to be able to allow that. So right now they're, congregating near a nurse's station or in a dining room, which is really not ideal and doesn't enhance anybody's quality of life.
Thank you, Mr. Gluck. Any questions? Thank you very much, Mr. Clark. Any other speakers on this calendar item number 23? The hearing is closed.
Borough of Staten Island, calendar number 24, CD2 C110106 ZMR. A public hearing in the matter of an application for an amendment of the zoning map concerning 1582 Richmond Avenue.
Hello, good morning. Eric Palatnik, representing the applicant. Thank you, Commissioners, and thank you, Chairman, for having us testify today.
I should have introduced you. I apologize.
Oh, that's okay. I wasn't sure which direction you wanted to take. I know who you are, though, so you didn't have to introduce yourself.
Well,
I think I need the introduction.
I apologize.
No apology necessary. Good morning, and let's see you move a quick hearing, which is always welcome. My name is Eric Palatnik, and I'm an applicant, and I'm representing the owners of the property here today for rezoning in the borough of Staten Island, a little bit north of the intersection of Victory and Richmond Avenue. It's on the corner of Merrill, and it's depicted here on the zoning map. Depicted on the zoning maps right here. It encompasses two properties, one of which is a corrective action that the Department of City Planning had asked us to rezone this property here, which has a 25,000 square foot medical facility. It's located in an R31 zoning district, which was considered to be illegal by the text change or unlawful by the 2004 text change for community facility and medical uses. So by expanding our intended commercial overlay from these properties right here to here, we legalized the condition that is now non-conforming. But the impetus for the rezoning is for these two properties right here, which are improved upon now with somewhat outdated older homes, which don't fit the commercial contextual context of Richmond Avenue that we all know up and down Staten Island. The Department of City Planning had rezoned in the past a portion of Richmond Avenue to Victory Boulevard, and they stopped their rezoning right there. They have indicated during their reports and their discussions when doing this rezoning that they would have liked to have continued further, but they stopped here for the resources. And they've also discussed in their reports the fact that much of Richmond Avenue is occupied by non-conforming commercial uses, which either predated the current zoning text or were put in place by variances over the last 4 decades. So with that as the backdrop, we made the application to the Department of City Planning, who well received the application, and we met with the Community Board, who well received the application as well. And the request is to add a C12 overlay to this portion of Richmond Avenue on the south side of Merrill Avenue and on the north side of Merrill Avenue, which would continue and extend this commercial overlay, which is now across the street, which includes a shopping center over here with a Walgreens and a bank and things of similar ilk. On this site here, it would allow us to develop redevelop that piece with this development right here, which would include an approximately 6,440 square foot, one-story retail development, approximately 18 square feet in height, use group 6, and it would have parking for 21 cars, which meets the underlying parking requirements of the C12 district, which is 1 per 300 square feet. There's not much else to the application other than what I just described. There are homes that are behind our property right here. We've had no complaints for anybody around us. Everybody's been notified. Also, there's buffering behind the property the whole way around, and everything has really been set up so that there's no homes right here, so that most of the orientation in the parking lot would be over there, away from any surrounding homes. That's our presentation.
Thank you very much, Mr. Palami. Any questions? Mr. Cirillo.
Follow up. At certification, Eric, I'd asked a question, and before the review session, I knew we didn't have a visual in terms of what we were actually seeing around the buffer, and Commissioner Levin was kind enough to ask the question at review session, but I'll ask it to you because the building seems to have a very nice design and I think fits in very nicely to the area. But on the portion that the buffer will be created between the building and the residential, is it just a blank wall with buffer, or is there some design element to the wall? Is it cinder block wall? Is it?
It's meant to be. I think it's meant to be brick. From what I'm seeing here, I'm looking to Joe Moraes to nod his head. He's the architect. It's supposed to be brick, and okay. I know they're trying to do a nice design, and we could certainly. It's not going to be just an ugly concrete wall. It'll be a slightly prettier brick wall.
Great, and I'm assuming then the owner or the tenant will maintain the buffer? So
Yes.
that in the event, the buffer that's designed to help create a better sort of relationship between the building and the residential portion of the community will be kept up and maintained?
Yes, that's the intention, yes.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions? Yes, Mr. Nichols.
What is the height of this building?
18 feet.
18 feet. Is there a height cap in this?
I think there's a 30-foot, is it a 30-foot height? It's a 30-foot height cap in the district.
Okay, thank you.
Ms. Deluz?
Hi, Eric. Thanks for
Good
being
morning.
here. I'm just wondering, I don't know if you can speak to this or not, the lighting in the parking area, just the orientation of it relative to the housing that's adjacent to it.
He's depicted, well, just one of the poles there. There's a pole here and a pole here. Everything is depicted to point down and away from surrounding properties. I think the maximum height of the poles are 12 feet, and most of the businesses will probably close around 9 p.m. There's nothing planned to go past that.
No other questions? Thank you, Mr. Fleming.
Thank you very much.
Ian Rasmussen? Thank you. Any other speakers on this calendar item number 24? The hearing is closed. Madam Secretary, is there any other business to come before the commission today?
No, Chairman Weisbrod.
If not, the meeting is adjourned. I'll see you all in a couple of weeks. Thanks.